Hello friends, this is Rabbi Isaac Dov, or Seligman Baer, Bamberger. Rabbi Isaac Dov, he was born in 1839, like we discussed, but in the 1860s, I think 1864, he opened the yeshiva here in Würtzburg. Now, this was the time of the enlightenment and the Haskula. He was an orthodox rabbi, and he had quite the yeshiva going here to train rabbis to hold the communities away from the liberal and reformed Jews. The yeshiva had an enrollment of like 30 students annually. It produced some 700 rabbis until it was closed by the Nazi time after Kristallnacht, 1938. 700 rabbis were here trained. In its 74 years of existence, the way of the Derech HaLimud, or the way it was studied here, was 4 years was the Talmud and the rabbinic learning. After that, there was 2 years of training, some in pedagogical and secular studies, and also practical training. Now, one of the very interesting episodes of his life was in 1876. Came the law of secession. The law of secession meant that the Jews had a right to secede from the main community, because a lot of the communities were liberal, and the Orthodox didn't find themselves anymore being represented by the main body of the Kehillah. So they fought. Reb Shamshon Hirsch was one of them, and he himself also of Bamberger, and some other big rabbis. They in 1873 they asked permission to secede and make their own kehillah, their own communities. Now, and in 1876, when it did happen, in Frankfurt, Reb Shamshon Hirsch and his community called the ERG or the IRG, he thought for sure that they're all going to want to secede and make their own community, but a lot of them didn't want. It seems that there was also economic reasons why they didn't want to do it, and they managed to get from the Kehillah, the reform, that certain concessions that for them to have some more say in the communal matters. And they penned a letter to Rav Bamberger asking if they have to secede, and he wrote for sure they have to. But this was in February 1877. But in the March 1877, the Jews of Frankfurt asked Rav Bamberger to come over to Frankfurt to see for himself. While he was there, he heard that there was even more ideas given for the more rights given for the Orthodox community. So they shouldn't secede. Among them being chiefly that they'll have their own say in the Talmud Torah, and they'll have in the learning curriculum. They'll have their own say in the mikveh. They'll have their own say in a bunch of stuff. And according to this concessions, Rav Bamberger held that they don't have to secede. But Reb Shamshon Hirsch was very, very upset about that. So he penned an open letter, and this went back and forth. In the end, ultimately, 115 from the IRG joined Reb Shamshon Hirsch in what was called the Austritz Gemeinde, and they seceded completely. They seceded from the main Kehillah, but they just comprised 1/3 of the complete Kehillah. Shamshon Hirsch was very heartbroken about it, and some say that he was so heartbroken that eventually, a year later, he died from Agmas Nefesh.